Welcome to the Art of Healing podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to helping you connect with your mind, body, and spirit. This is Charlize, physician and Reiki Master, and thank you so much for joining me. I would like to remind you that although I'm a physician, the information you receive in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You can find my full disclaimer at my website, www.healingartshealthandwellness.com. If you like what you hear on this podcast, sign up for my weekly newsletter. Check your show notes for more information and for the link to sign up. Thank you. Welcome to the Art of Healing podcast. For today's episode, I have a very special guest, Bailee Bruce, who is the owner of Natural Native Wellness. Mrs. Bruce is a certified natural healing practitioner, a Reiki Master, who is currently running a busy practice at Natural Native Wellness. She is a healer, a seeker, mover, and a curator of health and wellness. Being of Cherokee and Choctaw ancestry, she is integrating movement in the form of dance and yoga into her energy medicine practice. She offers services in person and virtually. I'm so excited to get the opportunity to speak with her. She has many exciting events coming up, including workshops and classes, and most importantly, she's expanding her energy medicine practice. As always, although I am a practicing physician, the information in this podcast as well as my website are for educational and informational purposes only. These are not medical, mental health, or religious advice. Please see the show notes for further details on this disclaimer. Hi, Bailee. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you? Do I sound okay?
You sound perfect. Thank you.
Of course, but I know I've just wanted to catch up with you too, and hopefully, we can meet in person very soon as well. So
Absolutely. So, all right, babe. So if you want to go ahead and get started, if you don't mind, can you share with the listeners some about yourself from your own words and some about your healing practice, which I know is growing and has so many exciting events coming up?
yeah, so I am I like to say a multifaceted, holistic practitioner in the healing arts here in Oklahoma City. I feel like there's just kind of an umbrella, I guess, of things that I do under Natural Native Wellness. I do specifically energy medicine, Reiki, healing therapy, as well as movement classes, somatic therapy. I also do have a certification in natural health. So every now and then I work with clients in that aspect as well and their lifestyles. But yeah, so there's so many things that I do within Natural Native Wellness, but primarily I work with clients to just, help them with holistic healing, mind, body, and spirit, and specifically for preventative health. I think that's probably what I'm most passionate about and what I feel I assist clients with the most. So I've been doing it now. I opened my practice in 2018. So it's only been a couple years, but I've had a lot of experience over the years, and I'm still learning so much as I continue to just grow and evolve as a practitioner and just in my own ways that I support myself and my own preventative health things as well. But I'm so interested in just the whole realm of wellness. So I'm sure I'll just continue to learn many skills and many things to add in. But yeah, that's pretty much it so far. And I'm super excited to just continue to grow and offer new trainings and workshops and so many things. So
that leads me to my next questions, which I'd wanted to ask you, but you and I had talked. You interviewed me for your website we did our
yes.
YouTube video, which was awesome. It was so fun. You mentioned that you like to focus on preventative health, and of course, in my practice, I am strongly encourage prevention wherever we can. Can you tell me a little bit more about your role in the preventative health of your clients?
Absolutely. So I think the majority of the people that I see, it comes down to stress related imbalances and just feeling kind of a disconnect from themselves in general. And, there every now and then I'll get a client who has an actual diagnosis of an autoimmune disorder or, something like that. But usually it comes down to just stress. And so for me, I feel like that is kind of like a silent killer there, a disease in a sense that we're not fully truly, I feel like, treating in a way or catching beforehand, because then it does evolve or manifest into so many more illnesses and even chronic illnesses down the road. So I feel like for me, that is where preventative health comes from, is really managing stress and using techniques, whether it's somatic therapies such as EFT tapping or just Reiki relaxation therapy, whatever it can be, and working on people's nutrition and getting ahead of things before we begin to develop disease or illnesses as well. And so I think it's important that I like to think of it as many of us have our check engine lights on as we're, when you see your car driving or whatever, and there's many lights that come on. The same thing happens in the body, whether it's a rash on the skin or whether it's an upset stomach or this or that, like really tuning into the signs and symptoms of the body and not just kind of ignoring them, but really taking time to say, what is going on and how can I maintenance this and, prevent from any further damage from occurring. So that's what I mean by preventative health. And I think it's just so important to, prevent things because it just helps not only our hospitals and our doctors and care providers, because I know things are kind of crazy in that aspect as well. But we also just want to improve our quality of life. And I think that begins with prevention.
That is beautiful. And as you're talking, I'm taking notes and calming myself down because I'm like, okay, that's a topic and that's a topic.
We could talk all day.
I'm like, because this could get out of control. You said, which you and I jive over, but you mentioned the prevention of autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm.
And that is powerful. Can you mind telling me a little bit more about what's your approach to preventing autoimmune disease?
Yeah, so I'll say too, I'm not a licensed medical professional in that way. So I'm still learning, still researching, and I never claim to treat or diagnose anything, but I specifically work with people on emotional and spiritual and just the mental components of what that means for prevention, because I fully believe specifically a lot of autoimmune disorders and chronic illness, such as autoimmune, are things that have occurred over an extended amount of time and we've kind of ignored. And then we have these flare-ups from time to time. And I think a lot of it, again, not only has to do with stress, but also our emotions. So if anything, I'm diving deep into our emotional and mental aspects of our health when it comes to autoimmune and how we can start to reverse those flare-ups and things, because I think we're really just starting to get down to aspects of research and really learning about how the mind, our thoughts, as well as our emotions can really affect our physical, biological body and how it can produce certain imbalances just by certain repressed emotions, traumas, the way that we think about ourselves and take on certain situations and our beliefs towards that. So that is kind of how I tend to focus on supporting clients who have autoimmune or chronic illnesses. And to nutrition and things like that play into it. I'm also not a nutritionist. And to be honest, it's not actually where my passion is, even though I know how much nutrition and food plays into our health and wellness. To me, light up when it comes to our emotional health and mental health and just spiritual as well, because I think spirituality and faith, no matter what you believe in, but just having that kind of foundation for yourself to, believe in something outside of yourself, to have that faith, to have that support, and to just truly trust that there is order, that there is some sort of feeling of safety and connection in the world, in this life, I feel like can be so beneficial to supporting us in our healing.
So when you discuss autoimmune diseases, disorders, and prevention, and then as I'm listening as a practicing physician, what I am hearing is, how do I want to say this? The way that I hear this, it's the gap that is missing. It's the piece that I'm constantly wishing for my patients. And you said it perfectly, that, when they come to see you, you're in that space of the stress, the emotions, the trauma. By the time it comes to me, the damage is done.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're saying, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my wish list for my
Yes.
patients. But that's
This is why we're teaming up here. We're bridging the gap. That is my ultimate, just my goal is for us to just come together and bridge that gap, because I do feel, I'm kind of like going off topic here, but I do feel like there's still some sort of animosity or just something where, there's the allopathic and the conventional medicine, and then there's the holistic, side of things. And it's like, if we could just come together, how amazing would that be? And how many more patients could we truly help heal? Because I do believe we need both. We absolutely need both. So
we need both. And as you're talking, and so the listeners, which any of the listeners understand, of course, I'm a practicing physician, but there is, and not that I can quantify it, but it's just this huge number of people I will interact with that are right on the verge of an autoimmune disease. They're not going to hit all the markers for any one disease. And there's so many times I would love to tell them, hey, let's get in there and let's uncover the fire that's driving this. But I can't do that in the clinic. So I think it's amazing to have you, this powerful healer with all this training, who can get in there and do the muscle work of what's driving your body to attack itself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And something else that, while you were talking about this too, that came to my mind is, as you see a lot of clients or patients too, that, it's kind of the damage has already been done as well. I also like to work with people who, and let them know that a diagnosis isn't their fate either. Like, there is a way that we can continue to support the body and create an environment to support the body. And that's with conventional and holistic aspects. So I like to think of that too, as whether it's prevention or whether it's already something that is occurring, that it's not the end all, it's not your fate. Like, you can, you don't have to own this diagnosis or illness, and there is healing on the other side. And so it's just finding those people who support you, and whether that's you and me, and we just come together as a team to support people. I don't know. I feel like that's something too, is people really want to feel supported in their healing. And I don't know, maybe that's something else that is kind of lacking, or we can better bridge the gap on as well.
So, if I may ask you, and this, we had discussed some questions before, but now I am going to go off topic. So for the listeners, Bailee has beautiful social media. Her Instagram is beautiful. Her newsletters are beautiful. So, this is going on. I'm sorry, Bailee, but I would like to ask you your self-care regimen. So for those that may already be operating as healers, or operating as professional healers, or healers in their own family or social circles, Do you mind sharing a little bit of your personal care regimen? I get to see a little bit on your social media, and hopefully you don't mind if we can share your Instagram, but do
Of
you mind sharing
course.
with us like how you do your thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I think about it, the whole reason I got into this realm of work is for myself, for my own medicine. And then I realized how much I loved it and how much it helped me that I wanted to share it with others. And I'll be honest, like there are times where I feel, just fraudulent in aspects or that, I'm preaching to my clients to do one thing and I'm not always doing it myself. And so I think just being in this line of work too, it holds me accountable to continue to work on myself and to as I'm telling my client something, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that too. I forgot or I've got off track. So this has been a great opportunity for me to continue my own healing and supporting myself. But I feel like really there's a couple things that really come to mind for me. Meditation has been probably one of the biggest things that I've taken on for my self-care over the last year or two that I truly didn't understand or I wasn't fully giving the time and effort because it does take practice to sit still to let the monkey mind like calm down. And so guided meditations, I use the Insight Timer app. Man, that is just, it has rocked my world. And I feel like it helps me to really come to a place to relieve my stressors at the end of the day. I'm someone who meditates right before bed versus at the beginning of the morning. But it helps me to really calm myself down, to relieve my stressors from the day, and to just refill my cup up before for the next day as well. Another one that I feel, especially in the winter right now, is warm baths. I've been in the bath literally almost every day during the winter. It just, it warms me to my bones. I put in my, whether it's Epsom salt or magnesium crystals, maybe some essential oils, and light my candles. It's just kind of like my sacred oasis to just be with myself. And sometimes I'll do the guided meditations in the bath, kill two birds with one stone. But to me, the baths have just been really beneficial to my own self-care lately, and to just have that time to myself to just be still and be in water and just to soothe my body and my mind. And then last, really that's something that I've listened to your podcast too, and how you talk about self-treatment Reiki for yourself as a practitioner. And man, I really have felt the benefits of that this year. And knock on wood, this is the first year that I haven't even experienced or this past year, with COVID and everything and just all the stress that we've been under. I didn't even experience a single allergy. Sometimes I'll get just allergies in general or a sinus infection or just a little cold. And this entire past year, I didn't even come down with anything. And I think that's because facilitating Reiki with others, I'm also allowing that Reiki to flow through me. And this is the most Reiki I've done since I've opened my practice. So I think just, working with clients one-on-one, doing, guiding them through breath, guiding them through movement and the Reiki, I'm also channeling that and doing the same thing for myself. So if anything, that has been so helpful for my resiliency and my health and wellness this year. And I'm so, so grateful for that practice. So yeah, sorry, that was a long answer.
It was a perfect answer. I'm sure the listeners are taking notes because I'm taking notes. So it was perfect. So my next question, because your practice is growing, it's thriving. I've been keeping up with your newsletters. I know you've got so many things going on and coming up. So first, if anyone is wanting to connect with you or wanting to work with you, do you mind sharing ways that they can connect or work with you, especially if they are looking for a healer like you that has so much to offer?
Absolutely. So, honestly, out of all the platforms, Instagram is probably my favorite. I like to be on that platform. Just, I feel like sharing pictures, sharing my thoughts, things like that. So most people interact with me through that platform. But of course, you can get a hold of me through email. But my Instagram is at Natural Native Wellness. And then, of course, my contact information is on there, as well as my website. So my website is just naturalnativewellness.com. And you can also sign up through my sign up through the website for my newsletter. I usually send out one newsletter once a month. And so sometimes I'll send special things specifically just for those people who are part of the subscribers for my newsletter. But usually I'm posting most of my content and interacting with people through Instagram. But you can find me. I need to get my Google SEO updated, but I'm sure you can just Google natural native wellness and find me that way as well. But yeah, so there's several different ways. Oh, and Facebook too. I'm on Facebook. I just don't use it as often. But yeah, so I'm out there. You can find me.
And in case anyone's looking, are you taking new clients right now, or is your practice open for new clients?
Absolutely. So it's crazy. I don't know how I do it, but I also still have a full-time job. So I still work full-time and then I see clients part-time right now. So my goal is to eventually do natural native wellness full-time, seeing clients. So I am always open to taking on more clients so I can actually leave my day job and really make what I'm passionate about my full-time job. And so I'm open to taking on new clients, and that's something that I'm kind of shifting into more this spring is more availability to see more clients. So there are people who I work with kind of on a what I would consider a long-term like a wellness program. And then I have people who are more just walk-ins if they want to schedule just a one-time little Reiki session or an energetic tune-up. So I kind of meet the needs of whatever the person is needing, whether it's just, like I said, a quick little Reiki session to relieve. Maybe someone's just dealing with a lot of stress right now, or maybe they're wanting more long-term support and there's a wellness goal in mind, or wanting to, again, help support their an autoimmune disease or chronic illness or whatever that is. I also work with people long-term. So yeah, my calendar is open and I am so looking forward to seeing more clients and connecting with more people.
And then just to clarify for the listeners, because we do have listeners all over the world, you offer distance services too, in case someone's not
I
local?
do.
Ah,
Yes, I do. I've been so busy here with, local clients, and I don't have a lot of people who, are doing online services. You would think just with everything actually kind of shifting more towards online, but yes, I do offer those services. I haven't promoted them as much, but I'd be happy to work with someone online if you're not here locally. So yeah.
perfect, perfect. So, oh, and then one more question, if you don't mind, Bailee. You've got some programs coming up. Do you mind sharing some with the listeners? So just, when they come to follow you on social media, what's coming up with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I keep telling myself I'm gonna take a break or take a little vacation, but I just can't help it. This it inspires me, and I just like I can't. I'm a doer, so um, maybe eventually I'll get some rest, but take my own advice of resting. Um, but no, so I'm super excited to just release a few new things right now. I have first off, it's called Coming Home. It's a Native Movement 4-part class series, so it actually begins next Sunday, but you can either, sign up for each class individually or sign up for, I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be 1 or 2 classes in. So um, it's a movement series, embodiment rituals, and self-inquiry practices to just help you to come home to yourself, mind, body, and spirit. So yeah, that begins February 28th and it'll end towards the end of April. And then what I'm most excited about is my first ever Reiki training retreat. That'll be April 15th through the 18th. And I believe I have 3 more spots left. So it's almost full. But that'll be this spring. And I'm so excited. It's out at St. Francis of the Woods. It's a spiritual renewal center. And so it's going to be a full retreat. I know when I did my Reiki training, it was kind of like a weekend training, and it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't as immersive. So I'm super excited to just facilitate that and to guide others to teaching them the Reiki practices and modalities, and also how to create a thriving Reiki practice. I think that's something else I didn't really fully learn when I got my training. So I'm excited to offer that to those who are interested in working with others and to create a practice out of it that, can sustain hopefully long term, and just continue to build community and support others. So I'm most looking forward to that Reiki retreat in the spring. And then I got a few other things coming up. I haven't quite announced them yet. I did a book club this past fall, and so I'll probably announce that again towards late spring. Eastern Body, Western Mind. And so we'll go through that. It's going to be a 9-week book club series. So I'll be announcing more details on that, but it'll probably begin the first week of May. So more details to come. I'm trying to think. That might be everything. I can't think of I think that's it.
So, Bailee, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me. It's what's so fun is, even though, I'm hosting this podcast, I'm learning from you. I'm listening, I'm learning. I know the listeners are learning. And biggest thing for the listeners, I'll make sure you all have Bailee's contact info so that you can follow her on social media and you can stay up to date with everything she has to offer. Bailee, I am just so honored. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. This is always so much fun, just getting to talk about the things that we love. And man, I just enjoy your spirit, and just I can't wait to actually connect in person soon and hopefully collaborate on some things too. So yay.
Yay. Thank you, Bailee. Thank you. If you would like to learn more about Bailee Bruce and Natural Native Wellness, you can find her at Natural Native Wellness on Instagram, and her website, naturalnativewellness.com. Thank you so much for listening today. I always appreciate your time as a listener. Time is valuable. If you are listening to this podcast, I would really appreciate it if on the platform that you're listening, if you'd like to leave comments, if you'd like to rate my podcast, if you'd like to leave me any feedback, and definitely feel free to send me an email at charlize@healingartshealthandwellness.com if there's a topic you'd like to hear more about. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Art of Healing podcast. Once again, this is Charlize. You can find out more about me at www.healingartshealthandwellness.com. Did you know I have a blog as well as online courses? Check your show notes to sign up for more information about healing arts, health, and wellness. Thank you. Please feel free to share this episode with your friends, family, and loved ones.